Happy March 6, 2025, everybody. Before I begin this video, I'm just going to say, obviously I'm wearing a Nike hat. I got an Adidas hoodie on, so I'm already a walking contradiction, so don't believe anything I have to say. I'm obviously confused over here. I also wanted to do this outside, but it's a little windy and I didn't want the mic to be all muffly, but um, something I love about my friends is that they challenge my perspective on things and things that I think I know or believe, and it's just led me to realize that I don't know too much of anything really. I can't prove too much of anything, but I do like to reduce everything down to its least common denominators, and that's what I'm going to do with this video. I'm going to prove to you that what you guys think you believe on a specific subject isn't actually what you believe, and that subject is motor vehicle laws and road laws. Over the years, this is something I've been thinking about for, I mean, years. And I've asked dozens and dozens, for sure over 100 people, this question. And it's a two-part question. Do you believe in motor vehicle laws? And then the next question is the follow-up, because most people are not like me. Most people answer, well, yeah, of course I do. And then the follow-up question is, okay, so what's the main reason why they exist? And the number one answer is safety, 100% across the board. It's always, well, we have to maintain the roads and keep them safe. That's why we need laws to keep people safe. And I'm going to challenge that. I'm not saying that safety isn't a component of it. It's just not the largest component of it. And I'm going to show you why you don't even believe that. So my follow-up statement and question to these people that say that it's about safety is that I say, so then why do you choose to be a hazard to everyone else on the road every time you get behind the wheel? Well, I'm not. I'm a good driver. Are you though? Can we objectively review the last week of your driving habits? You rolled through a stop sign. You blew through a red light because it was turning red as you were going underneath it. You changed lanes without signaling. You sped multiple times both to and from work. Need I go on? Also, I would love to give a test to everybody out there about road violations and laws, because not a single person is going to get 100%, which means, that is to say, that there are laws in the books that you guys don't even know that you're breaking. Right? Can we have an honest discussion about this? Of course there is. And so, you are a danger to everyone else on the road. Well, Patrick, come on, that's a bit extreme, don't you think? No, 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 no. You guys are the ones that are saying that this is about keeping everyone safe. And those posted signs and limits, that's for everyone's safety. If you're going to knowingly break them, then you're knowingly putting everybody at risk. Correct? Again, this isn't to say that safety isn't a component of it. I'm just simply saying that it isn't the single largest component. I'll prove it to you another way. Let's say you're driving down the road. You're going 79, 81 in a 70, right? And you're cruising along, you're not really paying attention too much, and then out of your periphery, in the rear view, you see cherries flashing. Is the first thought that goes through your mind, thank goodness, I was being a hazard to everyone on the road. I'm so thankful that this law enforcement officer is going to pull me over. Or is it, now I'm going to get a ticket, now I'm going to get a fine, and now my insurance premium is going to go up? Which one is it? Be honest. Be intellectually honest with the topics that you guys are discussing, not just this one. But I see so many dishonest conversations going on intellectually. And I know the answer. It's, damn it, I'm going to get pulled over. It is. That's what it is. It is that way for everybody. The adrenaline goes up, the heart starts pumping, because you're not thinking about safety. If it was truly about safety, and you guys believe that these laws exist for safety, then you all would march your asses down to the local municipality or your county seat or whatever governing authority it is, and you would demand that you be cited for every moving violation that you know you're doing every single time you get behind the wheel. Because most of us are breaking the law. The single largest reason why road laws exist is to extort money from the tax cattle. That's what's going on. Think about it this way. And I could go off on example after example after example about why laws exist and why basically things are the way that they are. For instance, in order for a law to have any deterrent effect in it, there needs to be teeth into it. So imagine Congress, for example. All this information is coming about how there's fraud and wasting government. I mean, most of us have known this for years, right? And most of us want money out of politics. Imagine a law that says there's no money in politics, there's no lobbyists, there's none of this stuff going on, and if anyone is caught defrauding, by the way, this is hilarious in and of itself. I don't remember how many counties there are in the United States, over 3,000, I believe. Look at just the county level at how many people have been convicted of embezzling and fraud just at the county level. It's hundreds of millions of dollars. It's hilarious. And this is taking place across the board, from the feds on all the way on down. Imagine a law that would state this: anyone caught defrauding the public, stealing whatever it is, it's an automatic 5-year jail sentence. Your assets are immediately stolen, confiscated, and then sold to pay off the debt. If there's any debt left outstanding, then you're in jail making minimum wage for the remainder of the time until you can pay that off. You lose your pension, you lose your retirement, and you can never serve in a public seat again. Now, how many people, how many government officials would defraud the American public if that was the law with those teeth in it? I got a feeling very, very, very few. You're always going to have the outlier. You're always going to have the dummy. I mean, you have the people that have multiple DUIs and they're still doing it, and they're still driving. It doesn't matter if they spent 90 days in jail and lost their license. They're still doing it. It's kind of like, why is the fee for going over the speed limit, why is it $80? Why is it 110? If it's about safety, because folks, we can't put a value on human life, can we? If it's truly about safety and saving lives, we'll make the fee $8,000 instead of $80. Make it $12,000. I mean, shoot, I don't know, but a human life is worth a lot. We got to make it high enough to where people will just obey what's written in the law. The reason why it's not that is because people will be like, up yours. I'm not paying that extortion fee. But as long as it's what the low class can afford, because they can scrape up $80 to pay a fine and keep driving. As long as it's that low, then the deterrence there, and they get to collect revenue, which is a single main reason why these laws exist. It's revenue generation for the state, plain and simple. All I'm saying is, let's be intellectually honest about what it is that we're talking about. And so, I could go off forever about this, but I got pulled over a few years ago down in Georgia, and obviously I wasn't going to make my court date. If it was around here, I definitely would have. But I wrote a letter to the judge, and I wanted to find it and read it because it's actually hilarious, but I had six or seven bullet points in there as to why all this is BS. And I got pulled over. I was lollygagging and I just happened to go through a school zone that was in the middle of nowhere, and people were going faster than me, but I got nabbed. So there's a whole bunch of issues with this. First of all, why is it subjective to the officer? You know what I mean? Why does he get to choose who gets pulled over and who doesn't? If the law is the law and it's about safety and maintaining safety and keeping people safe, then everyone breaking the law should be fined. There shouldn't be this subjectivity. Oh, well, you can go 76 in a 70. They'll never get you going that fast. But once you hit 78, 70, what's the difference? In fact, if I get into an accident, I'm going to sue that police officer I just went by because he should have pulled me over and fined me because I was breaking the law and putting myself and everybody else at risk, right? So why the subjectivity? Also, in regards to the letter I wrote to them, I'm in Minnesota. Those people who've lived in Minnesota know exactly what I'm talking about. They just got snow down there. They get a half inch of snow or an inch of snow and the whole state shuts down. We get an inch of snow and we laugh. I told the judge that I will challenge any officer in any road condition, in any vehicle, and I'll do better than average by far. behind the wheel. So why do I have to adhere to the same set of laws that a newly licensed 16-year-old has to adhere to? It doesn't make sense, right? I mean, I think we can agree that's common sense. But we do it. Why? Why do we do it? There's better ways to make things safe, which is to say, again, make sure have the fine be $8,000. People won't be speeding. Or they will, and they'll just not pay it. See, that's the thing, like I said before. What other things did I mention to her? I don't know. I'll try and find it. Maybe post it down below if I can. But it was, I don't want this video to get too long. I'm already above 10 minutes. But the point being is that we can sit here and say, the point actually moves into a different realm. And it has to do with where we're going socioeconomically and where Homo sapien is actually being led to. People will cry and scream about, we need to get guns out of this country. If it'll save just one life, we gotta remove guns. Well, okay. If we can save just one life, though, we have to stop making cars. I mean, let's be realistic here. Cars kill way more people per year. Yes, but that's a risk we're willing to take. See, there's the rub, isn't it? There's the rub. Like, there are solutions to these problems about if it was truly about safety and making the road safe and making sure we're safe, then forget about insurance. Forget about all this stuff. Have the same teeth in the laws that I just made regarding politicians. Every life is worth $1 million. And you are responsible every time you get behind the wheel for everything that you do. So if you kill someone, you're working off $1 million. If you damage somebody's car, you're paying for it, right? And so how many people, if that was actually the law, which is there again to keep us safe, if that was the case, how many people would be petting their dog? Or putting on makeup, or shaving, or texting, or being on social media, if that was the result? If it's about safety, we can't put a price on that, you guys. We can't put a price on safety. So that should be the law. Let's make these laws have teeth in them. But we can't do that, right? And the reason why we can't do that is because it would slow society down to a point where it wouldn't function anymore. And so we're willing to take the risk when it comes to vehicles and deaths, but we're not willing to take that risk when it comes to guns. 0.0001% of the people that are actually shot accidentally. Take out suicides and gangs and all this stuff, and you're left with very minimal gun violence. But we're okay with it as long as it's vehicle violence, because that's a risk, damn it, that we're willing to accept because this economy needs to move. Imagine if that was the law, that there was no insurance and you're responsible. How many people would elect not to drive? They wouldn't take the chance. And then how would that affect speed on the road? Would people be going? Oh, that reminds me, another point I made. How come it is that in Minnesota example, it's 70 miles per hour on the interstate, but as soon as I cross state lines into South Dakota, magically I become a better driver? It's not about the terrain. People have said that, well, it's flatter over. Not when you cross the state line, it's not. It's the same topography. So how come magically it's different? I just magically became a better driver now that I'm in South Dakota? Come on. It's about revenue generation. 100% the main reason is revenue generation. And so, like I said, how many people would be participating in the activity of driving if they were 100% responsible? They'd have to check their tires. They'd have to check their brakes to make sure those are operating. Their brake lines aren't rusted out. All these things, it would make people more responsible and obviously more accountable. It would therefore make the roads safer because people would obviously start to become, more intelligent in regards to cars and vehicle operations and all that it takes, instead of just saying, well, I got insurance. And speaking of insurance, why are they private companies? Yeah. There's rules and regulations regarding insurance companies and what they can and can't do, and Sherman Antitrust Acts and commingling of funds and all this stuff. But they bet in the stock market anyway. They use your premium to go make more money. That's what's going on. So why not just have it state-run insurance then? If we have to have insurance, just state by state, anybody in a resident, you can get this amount of insurance for this coverage and this premium, and then all the premiums go into a pool. And that pool, whatever it is, every year or every 3 years or whatever magic number you all want to come up with, it gets distributed to the state for projects or this or that. Like, I just don't get it. We do things as human beings that we continue to do them because, well, that's the way they've always been done. So I just, it's mind blowing to me. So anyway, it's 15 minutes. I could go off and on and on and on about this, but I think you get my point. And I want to challenge your perspective on this because it is definitely not about safety. There's other ways to make it safe. But again, just in closing, I want to reiterate the fact that if it was that way and truly about safety, people wouldn't be on the roads as much, which actually would make the roads safer. They certainly wouldn't be on their gadgets or petting their animals, which again would make the roads safer. Um, if they had to pay off any damages and whatnot themselves and be personally held responsible for it. But again, it would slow our economy down, and we wouldn't be able to get as much done, which I argue is a wonderful, wonderful thing, because I'm pretty sure that we're going in the wrong direction in terms of Homo sapiens evolution. I don't like the direction we're going, and I don't need to download a stupid video in 0.3 seconds on my phone. I don't care. No one should care if it. So years ago it was 8 minutes. Great. Who's to say that all this technology is benefiting humanity in the right ways? You know what I mean? I think it's absurd to think that the technocrats and the control apparatus that actually has the tentacles over all this stuff is actually allowing us to organically use it to our benefit. It's not happening. They've got us convinced that, just like they've got us convinced that these laws are about our safety, but that's not it at all. And that's all I'm saying. But anyway, I honestly hope this made you think. And I would actually love comments. And I know a lot of people, it's been a year or so since I've done, almost a year anyway. I think the last time I did one was tax season. I'm going to do another one on that regarding a fair tax and what a fair tax really means. But I do appreciate your input and the messages that you guys send and whatever else. I really do. I hope that this gets you to think about things. Obviously, that's the whole point of this deal. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I just want freedom. I want people to be able to express themselves and live their lives however they want to, as long as they don't infringe on anyone else's rights to do the same. And it is always government that gets into the way of that. This is the scale. You have freedom over here, you got government over here. Draw the line, because the more government you have, the less freedom that you have. And then they convince you along the way, for the majority of part, that authoritarian regimes that have been elected by their citizenry most often take control and go full tyranny under the guise of safety. It's almost always about safety. We're doing this for your safety. So anyway, I do wish you safety. I do wish you prosperity. And until next time, we'll catch you later. Enjoy the upcoming spring. Adios.